There's apparently a drone infestation in the Northeast, and originally I thought they were talking about Kamala Harris supporters. You know, I call leftist drones. But there's a lot of stuff in the sky, and some of it's pretty big, and they're flying around, and when people point their flashlight, they're shutting their lights off. Are you going to tell me that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, are you going to tell me that the FAA, are you going to tell me that the United States Air Force, are you going to tell me NASA, are you going to tell me all these entities that we have, some are law enforcement, some are military, some are just plain scientific, they don't know what the hell's going on, but they do know it's not the enemy. Well, if it's not a foreign enemy, then somebody's doing it for fun. So who is it? Or our government's doing it. Now, which is it? The idea that we don't have any idea on what the hell's going on is preposterous. You know what we call this? It's very simple. It's some kind of a cover-up. It's some kind of a cover-up. Now, my guess has been the Communist Chinese. I could be wrong. But how complicated is this? Seriously. These are drones. Now, you can go buy drones off the shelf at some stores. Some of these are huge military-like drones. Well, you can't buy those off the shelf, can you? Some of these drones are as big as helicopters, they're telling us, Mr. Producer. You can't just buy that at Best Buy, can you? But don't worry. It's not the Islamo-Nazi regime in Tehran. Don't worry. It's not the Communist Chinese genocidal murders in Beijing. Don't worry. I'm worried. What the hell is it? I'll tell you what I'm worried about. Either we don't know what it is, or there's a cover-up, and they're not telling us. And I think it's the latter. And we have members of Congress who are rightly angry saying, hey, we keep asking you in the bureaucracy what the hell's going on, and you're stiff-arming us. They don't have the right to stiff-arm members of Congress. And we will have our friend Chris Smith, Republican congressman from New Jersey, the longest serving, I might add, on the program. He's very good at trying to get to the bottom of these sorts of things, having dealt with the bureaucracy for decades. But it's utterly unacceptable. So Jeff Van Drew, who's really a good guy, he represents South Jersey, Atlantic City, Vineland, really a diverse area. He was a Democrat. He likes Trump. He flipped. He switched to Republican. He gets reelected. He's a good guy. So he says, I've got sources, and I'll tell you what my sources tell me. Cut 10, go.
And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyist or hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this. Know that Iran made a deal with China to purchase drones, motherships, and technology in order to go forward. The sources I have are good. They can't reveal who they are because they are speaking to me in confidentiality. These drones should be shot down. Whether it was some crazy hobbyist that we can't imagine or whether it is Iran, and I think it very possibly could be, they should be shot down. We are not getting the full deal, and the military is on alert with this.
Yeah, we are not getting the truth. I don't think it's a hobbyist. With swarming drones, Mr. Producer? 12, 20 at a time? That's some hobbyist. The military ought to hire that guy. But I don't think so. Time will tell. But this administration is opaque. This administration is constantly keeping the American people, we the people, in the dark here. And then we have Sabrina Singh, She is one of the liars for the regime. She's the deputy Pentagon press secretary. And she dismisses Jeff Van Drew. Cut 17, go.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones.
May I ask you, are there any weather balloons flying around that are actually communist Chinese spy balloons? What about that, Mr. Producer? I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Well, if it's not an Iranian mothership, and it's not a ship at all, and it's not a foreign threat, how do they know all these things? How do they know all these things? Crazy. Go ahead.
The United States.
And there's no so-called mothership launching drones to the United States. Well, who is? I don't know. Well, how do you know that? I don't know. It is time for the Trump administration to take over here and get to the bottom of this stuff. Then we have Robert Willer Jr., senior FBI official, at a hearing yesterday. Cut 18, go.
Is the public at risk? Is public safety at risk? Are we concerned that there are nefarious intentions that could cause either national security or a public safety incident that would put Americans at risk?
There's nothing that is known that would lead me to say that, but we just don't know, and that's the concerning part.
Now, that is one of the most irrational sentences I've ever heard, Mr. Producer. There's nothing that is known that would lead me to say that, but we just don't know, and that's the concerning part. So you don't have any foggy idea. That's what you should say. I don't have the foggiest idea. Wow. Isn't this amazing? These are drones. They're not like supersonic, hypersonic devices. And so I'm sitting here thinking to myself, if it's true that we can't figure this out, and I don't believe it is, but if it is true, how the hell are we ever going to defend ourselves against far more sophisticated weaponry than drones, for God's sakes? How? I don't know. But this is preposterous. And I want the people of New Jersey to know, the rest of the country, we stand with you in this dronian scandal. And it's really a scandal because it's one of two things. It's either our government or it's a foreign government. I think it's the latter. And the weasels in the White House don't want to do anything about it any more than they wanted to do anything about that weather balloon. Remember, people said, shoot the damn thing down. It's the communist Chinese. They're spying on our nuclear sites. They're spying on our missile systems. Well, we can't be sure. You know, it's like the Hindenburg flying up there. It's so massive. We can't be sure what it is. But we know what it is. And so how much longer does this go on? It's crazy. You know, in the good old days, the American citizen would shoot these damn things out of the sky, Mr. Producer. But today you would get, a 15, 20-year sentence if you dared to try and do anything like that.